The Morning Drive podcast from Double T 97.3 is presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
I'm Mike Hebert, owner of Cantex Roofing and Construction. Every day is game day, and we'll get it right when it comes to your roofing, construction, windows, and mirrors. Call Cantex Roofing and Construction today. Together, we are one serving you.
I was watching David Collier's sports cast last night, and he had Hunter Dobbins on to visit with him about his big league start the other night for the Boston Red Sox. And he said that Dobbins said that his coach called him into the office and said, I really wish I had a special way of doing this. He said, but you've got to catch a plane in a couple hours. He goes, but you're getting called up. And then Dobbins said he called his wife, who I'm not sure where she is. She's in nursing school. And he said, we're not really a family of calling. We're more of a family of texting. So when you call, something really big is happening. Mm-hmm. Okay. And so she was like immediately, obviously excited and then, got a hold of his parents. And then it was a scramble for them to get to Fenway Park and to be able to see him pitch because, you you never know. You may only get one opportunity. You hope that you're going to get another opportunity to go back up and maybe stick. But, when you have those, quote, once-in-a-lifetime opportunities, you got to take advantage of it. And so his parents made it, his wife made it. And he said it was really cool when, it came out because he got the last out in the fifth. And so the Red Sox fans gave him a nice cheer. And he said afterwards the manager of the team gave him the lineup card from that night. That was pretty cool because they went on to win. And then teammates, gathered around him, and then I guess it's back to the minors.
Tough gig, but still a lot of fun.
Yeah, I mean, basically, he can always say he was a big leaguer, and you hope that opportunity comes back for him. Surely with the way he pitched, and you got to obviously stay injury free and things like that, but. They thought enough of him to bring him up for the second game of a doubleheader, which he had to sit around and wait a long time, for that. But anyway, I thought that was pretty cool. But how would you have liked to have been at this game? The Dunedin Blue Jays, the single A affiliate of the Toronto Blue Jays, set a Florida State League record and a full season minor league baseball record last night. They drew 22 walks.
Jeez.
Against the Jupiter Hammerheads. They're an affiliate of the Miami Marlins. That makes sense, right? Hammerheads, Marlins, Florida, all that kind of stuff. All 9 batters in the Blue Jay lineup took at least one walk. 8 of the 9 had 2, and 2, the leadoff man, and he's also the left fielder, J.R. Freedy, and the second baseman, Sam Shaw, were credited with 4 apiece. 4 walks. 4 walks in the ball game. So I bet you that was really exciting to watch, wasn't it?
It's not the style of baseball that's the most enjoyable, that's for certain. But if your team's doing the walk-in, I guess it would be somewhat okay.
Well, sometimes you have those nights, in minor league baseball where the pitcher can't find the plate. Heck, sometimes you have that night in Major League Baseball too. Mm-hmm. Where you just, for whatever reason, can't find the plate, or the home plate umpire's got a narrow strike zone. I don't know that was necessarily the case. I'm sure they got to a certain point where the umpire's probably going, "Hey, dude, just get it close, and I'll call a strike."
Yeah, I don't know.
Just get it close. We don't talk a whole lot of NBA, but I thought this was bizarre yesterday with the Nuggets, who just 2 years ago won the NBA championship. They fired their head coach Michael Malone and their general manager, Calvin Booth. There's just a handful of games, less than a handful, left in the regular season. And the Nuggets are 47-32. They're 15 games over 500. They have lost 4 straight, though.
Yeah, a little bit of a surprise there.
Yeah. The story on ESPN, the shocking decision comes at a point when the Nuggets have lost 4 straight and in danger of falling into the play-in. It's been a frustrating stretch for the Nuggets. But, man, it feels like that the NBA, more than others, it's what have you done for me lately, league?
Yeah, maybe some of that, and also the fact that they feel like, hey, if we make a change, we may be able to kickstart this team somehow. You see that in basketball, I feel like, more than football or baseball. Yeah,
I feel like there were times when you'd see that in Major League Baseball. It seems like those days have calmed down, though. It's not, I don't think you see that as much. That firing of the hitting coach or the pitching coach or the manager. But get this, 4 of the last 6 coaches to win in the NBA, the finals, have won a championship. Nick Nurse with the Raptors, Frank Vogel.
Okay. Go ahead. Try that again. Try that whole thing again. 4 of the last 4 that have won.
4 of the last 6 coaches
that have won
an NBA Finals
have been fired.
Okay,
yeah. You said 4 of the last 6 that have won a championship.
Oh, okay. 4 of the last 6 okay,
that have won
have been fired.
Okay, there we go.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
And then somebody helps me with Dunedin. I knew that I wasn't saying that right, but I thought maybe if I just say it real fast, it'll be all right. But I've never had seen Dunedin. I've not been there, so I apologize. So thank you for that and I mean that sincerely. Thank you on the Yates Flooring Center chat line, the correct pronunciation of the Florida town. All right, so Nick Nurse, Frank Vogel, Mike Budenholzer from the Milwaukee Bucks, and now Michael Malone from the Denver Nuggets.
Yeah, and that speaks to just what you were talking about a minute ago as far as they're just in the NBA. It's definitely, they got a quick trigger there, so to speak.
Josh Kroenke, who is the vice chairman of Kroenke Sports. Remember, they own the Nuggets. They own the LA Rams, other things. He said, there were certain trends that were very worrisome to me at different points in time, but they would get masked by a few wins here and there. In the world of professional sports, when winning and losing is your currency, winning can mask a lot of things. Well, it can cure a lot of things, too. Called the timing of the decision unfortunate, but hopes the change may spark something in the team heading into the playoffs. I think there's more to the team that has been accomplished so far. How much is in that group? I don't think that I know the answer to that. I don't think anyone knows the answer to that. But I think I have a belief that there's more in that group that can be accomplished. And I look forward to seeing what they can do. Okay. Go run through the door there for the Kroenke organization.
This is the Morning Drive Podcast from Double T 97.3, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
This day in sports history today is Wednesday, April the 9th, 2025. Here's Jeff McGuire with this day in sports history.
Starting in 1925, at the height of his fame, Babe Ruth rushed to the hospital with a mysterious condition labeled the bellyache heard round the world. Ruth reportedly was dead by several newspapers. He was not. He would continue to play baseball for quite some time.
You just had too many hot dogs.
It was the bellyache heard round the world.
Oh, okay.
That's all in caps and all in bold. 1965, first baseball game at the Houston Astrodome. Astros beat the Yankees 2-1 in exhibition fashion. Mickey Mantle hits Major League Baseball's first indoor home run. Lyndon Johnson, president, with Lady Bird in attendance.
I think that was an exhibition game. Was that
That's why I said exhibition.
Oh, you did say exhibition. Okay, I'm sorry.
Astros didn't take on the Yankees a lot back then.
No, right. No, that's exactly right.
1981, Los Angeles Dodgers Fernando Valenzuela makes his Major League debut as opening day starter due to pitching staff injuries. He beats the Astros 2-0, goes on to win both Rookie of the Year and Cy Young awards.
He was pretty good.
They would win the World Series, too.
1989, New York Yankees outfielder Ricky Henderson steals his 800th career base in a 4-3 loss to the Cleveland Indians.
It was just Ricky being Ricky.
It was.
And in 2020,
Did a lot of losing back then.
Mm-hmm.
And in 2022, number 4 Texas Tech baseball clinched the series in shutout fashion, defeating the Kansas State Wildcats 14-0. Red Raiders scored in double digits for the 14th time that season, using 10 hits, while the Red Raiders pitching staff limited Kansas State to just 3 hits. Could use some of that this year. Happy National Chinese Almond Cookie Day and National Gin and Tonic Day.
I think I'm out on both.
I like a good gin and tonic.
I bet I would like the cookie.
Happy birthday to Kristen Stewart, who's 35. Dennis Quaid, 71. And Cynthia Nixon is 59. And on this day in 1959, I bet Chuck knows what happened.
1959. Mm-hmm. Was this Sputnik?
Nope.
No.
It's space related.
Is this Yuri Gagarin? No.
The National Aeronautics and Space Administration.
Oh, formally organized?
Nope.
Nope.
Introduces America's first 7 astronauts.
The right stuff, yeah.
You were wrong, Jeff.
Huh?
You were wrong.
I did not know.
Chuck did not know.
Yeah. I figured 59 would help him, but it did not.
It did not.
This was America's getting ready for the Mercury project. They were the first 7 chosen of the 32 candidates that had applied. They were all test pilots, as if you've watched The Right Stuff, you know. America's first manned space program was Mercury. NASA planned to begin manned orbital flights in 1961. And that is this day in sports history.
6:49 this morning here on the Morning Drive. That Right Stuff movie is a long movie. It's in excess of 3 hours.
Yes.
How'd you handle that?
Well, I
enjoyed every minute of it.
I was on an airplane, so I watched it. I watched it the other day. It was about 2 or 3 weeks ago. I don't know that I'd ever seen it start to finish.
I didn't have any doubt that you could handle it, Jeff. Mr. Heinz.
I know.
Champion TV watcher.
3 hours, yeah.
I can sit on my butt and do nothing with the best of them.
I watched it in spurts. I mean, I didn't see all of it for the whole. I mean, I watched like 2 hours of it, then changed planes and watched the last of it. So, but yeah, you're right. You're right. I mean, didn't
fall asleep in your recliner during the middle of it? Or
No, I did not. I did not. And I made it for the entire national championship game the other night too. I didn't fall asleep during it as well. I made it. I made it through the whole way. Bullfighter asked this. I don't know if it's a statement or a question. He says, "Can we have that Texas Tech baseball team back? The one from this day in sports history." Yeah. You have a little ebb and flow. Unfortunately, you've got the bad part of the ebb and the bad part of the flow this year. It just kind of never got on track, did it? The baseball season.
Well, it's not over.
No, it's not.
It's not gotten on track. Correct.
It's not gotten on track.
It's not over.
But it's not over.
We got a bunch of games left.
Yeah.
Let's not speak like it's finished.
No.
They're going to keep playing.
They are going to keep playing.
Yeah.
They are going to keep playing.
And they're going to keep trying to get better.
No doubt. Yeah. And we'll have games this weekend. They take on Baylor Friday night, Saturday afternoon, and Sunday afternoon. The weather's going to be very cooperative. Looks like it's going to be warm, hot, even, compared to last weekend where you had snow on Saturday. And measurable snow as well, which was a little bit of a surprise. I know this won't necessarily disappoint you, but there's now speculation that Deshaun Watson may have played his last down in the National Football League.
Oh no!
The Cleveland Browns have admitted it was a huge mistake to trade for him.
Yeah.
But people around the league think there's a chance that Watson has played his last game because of his health. One of the ESPN experts says the first thing Watson must do to even get another opportunity is get healthy. he re-ruptured his Achilles last season, which will significantly impact his rehab. He said, I'd say there's a likelihood that he doesn't play at all in 2025. That if he does, from a medical standpoint, a foot and ankle specialist told ESPN. However, if he were to get healthy, the Browns are tied to him for the time being after giving him that NFL record 5-year, fully guaranteed $230 million contract. They won't do that again. Cleveland's
for a guy that, just had shown the ultimate of poor character.
No doubt.
And the Browns were like, yes, sign us up for that.
Right. Cleveland owes Watson $46 million in each of the next 2 seasons, and there are $173 million in cap hits remaining on his contract, which would turn into dead money if the team were to part ways with him this offseason.
Say it, Chuck. Say it. Say it.
Say what?
You always want to say it. Say it.
It's over?
No. Sorry.
Sorry about you.
There we go.
Sorry about you.
Sorry about you.
Sorry about you, Browns.
Sorry about you, Browns.
You 100% brought this on yourself.
They did.
I hope that it would go miserable. It has gone miserable, and I hope that it continues. You take about another 5 or 10 year funk to get out of it.
Sorry about you.
Because of your poor choice.
I'm slow today, aren't I? I need to plug in.
You love using it.
I know, right.
Especially since we brought it back yesterday.
Right, and just again, I need to get plugged in or something. So at any rate, one NFL executive says, if released, I don't see anyone picking him up. Really? And then down the road, the question will be, will he take low quarterback money? Would he be even motivated to play at that point? Right. He's got all that money.
Is he motivated to play now?
I don't know. That is a great question, but he's not anybody's problem but the Browns right now. So they did it to themselves. Paul says this, Chuck Swag is on point today. I think that's sarcasm.
Chuck Swag. Chuck Swag. Do we surf with that? With the Chuck Swag?
Swag surfed before. No.
I was saying when there's Chuck Swag, do we surf?
No, we don't. I think we just shake.
I think instead of like your whole body swaying side to side, it's really just your head shaking. Your head shaking.
I think we just shake our heads is what we do.
Chuck Swag.
Yeah, right.
Your daily dose of sports and fun. This is the Morning Drive Podcast from Double T 97.3, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
Drive. Good morning with Jamie Lent and Jeff McGuire. I'm Chuck Heinz. Before we get to football, Brent had a question. He had posted on the Yates Flooring Center chat line something from 24/7 Sports. I believe this is more speculation on their part as opposed to an announcement, because I feel like that if anybody was coming back, Tech would announce it just like they did yesterday from a basketball standpoint with the announcement that Christian Anderson was coming back for his sophomore season, which is great news, right? Great news. But they had posted also that JT Toppin would be back. I think if JT Toppin was coming back, he's the Big 12 Player of the Year, that we would have gotten some kind of communique from Texas Tech if there was a formal announcement. Don't you?
I think what you're saying makes sense. The only other thing I could think of is unless JT wanted to make the announcement himself, and he told Texas Tech that, and so they're waiting for him to do that.
Yeah. I mean, I hope that. And then
it does feel like we're getting a lot of signs pointing to that. Mm-hmm. And so hopefully where there is smoke, that there is fire in that regard. So I feel like my confidence level for him coming back it continues to climb. And,
if he wants to go check out the NBA and, get kind of an evaluation of what they feel like that he needs to do to get to that level. But I mean, man, if you're the Big 12 Player of the Year, I'm sure he's got to be thinking, man, I'm the Big 12 Player of the Year. This is supposed to be one of the best, if not the best, conference of college basketball. Maybe it wasn't the best this past year in terms of number of teams in the tournament, or you didn't have the national champion come out of your conference, but obviously you had a very good conference, and your team was very good. And sometimes I guess the size and your talent may not always match up with what the NBA needs, but I have to think that if you're him, you're thinking, God, I got to be close, right, to be in a first-round draft choice?
You would think so, but I mean, sometimes great college players, their specific game does not translate to the next level in all sports. I mean, look at Heisman Trophy winners,
sure,
Charlie Ward, or other guys that you thought to yourself, yeah, they're great players now in college, but it's just not going to translate to the next level.
Yeah, it doesn't always look that way. And then this 24/7 article goes on to say, losing Darion Williams to the portal is a gut-wrenching blow, but Texas Tech is positioned to be a heavy-hitting player in 25-26. Well, just because, I mean, you don't have the sense that Darion Williams is totally gone, do you?
No, I think Darion Williams is playing the game.
Yeah.
That's what I think.
Yeah, I agree with you.
I think he's less likely to stay than JT Toppin.
Okay,
but I feel like I still think there's a good chance you're keeping both.
Okay. And then if you're Federico, don't you want him to appeal and try to get another year?
I think you're a little bit higher on Federico than I am. I think he's fine, but I think you can find what Federico does elsewhere. I hope we have him back.
Okay.
Yeah, I hope we have him back. And I somewhat expect that, too.
Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe I am.
I don't think
I might be a little higher on him than you. Yeah.
I think he was a good fit and did lots of things for you. And
it's not your star player. I mean, I get that.
I don't. Yeah, I mean, I want him back, but I don't think that's a guy that you're like, oh man, how do we replace him?
Pining over. Yeah. Okay. So there's that. 7:19. David Bailey, the Stanford transfer, is already in town. I guess because of the quarter system. I heard Gus talking about this a little bit yesterday on Tech Talk, that they have at Stanford. It allows him to get here and get to work from a practice standpoint.
Is he going to school?
I don't know how that works yet, or if he's zooming in to Stanford and working out here. But he's here. He's in town. I don't know how all this works anymore. It's fascinating, right?
No, it's not.
Well, I mean, it's
not to me.
It's kind of fascinating how. It's almost like they get traded. That's coming, don't you think?
No. I don't know how you can trade guys in the middle of a semester when there's this whole going to school thing attached to it. I don't know how a guy can show up in, what is today, April 8th, and be practicing with your football team. I mean, classes started, late January?
Yeah. Mid to late January, yeah.
I don't understand.
Yeah, and I don't know how much
now, I'm sure
practicing or if he's working out.
we can buy him a house and he can live in the house and he can come here and use our facilities to live and all that.
Yeah.
But that would seem crazy if he's allowed to be working with our football team.
On the practice field or at least in the meeting rooms.
But if it's legal, I hope they're doing it.
Yeah.
I mean, why would you not?
Yeah. I would think that whatever they're doing is as legal as it gets.
Yeah, no, I think it is too.
Yeah,
I mean, it totally. I mean, again, if something about the quarter system makes sense for him to be practicing with us, have at it. Why would you not be doing it?
Or if he's done with his academic responsibilities for the quarter, I mean, you're not going to go there next quarter, so why start another quarter? Just get to Lubbock. Get started. Get working out.
Yes, except for if he's not enrolled in classes here, how does he just... He's not a student with us. How is he out there working out?
I don't know.
For us.
I don't know how all that works.
That's my question. But again, I'm sure they figured that out. And if it's legal for him to be out there learning the defensive scheme, then have at it. Please do.
Do you think we should drop the term student athlete?
No. There are a lot of athletes that go to class and care about their education.
Okay. You're probably right about that.
If you want to, suggest that. I don't know. I just think it's so unfair because I was just about to say, well, if you want to suggest that we do that for the football and basketball teams, then maybe it's more legitimate. But I bet you there are guys on that football team that are striving to make a 3.8 and a 4.0 and can't wait to get on with their business, life after the game. And it's cool to them that they've played a little college football. And there are guys that are, sitting on the bench on the men's basketball team that, and Bailey Maupin graduated in 2.5 years. You can tell her she's not a student athlete?
No, I'm not.
Okay, well, why are we talking about dropping the student athlete thing? Is she not one?
Yeah.
Right? That's pretty dang impressive that she graduated in 2.5 years while being a college athlete.
Somebody says
so
this.
you're going to tell her she's not a student athlete?
No, I'm not.
No way you are.
I'm not going to say that. Somebody says this. Bailey graduated from Stanford. He's here and will enroll in grad school classes. Okay. Bailey's not only at Tech, but already practicing. I just hadn't been over to practice.
I have no idea how the grad school thing works. Yeah. Can you start grad school in the middle of a semester?
I don't know. I was never smart enough to be thinking about grad school. Did you ever think about grad school?
No.
Business degree or anything like that? I think you'd probably be something strikes me that you would probably be a pretty good attorney.
No.
Not
too much talking.
Not the trial attorney. Not the
way too much dealing with people.
Car crash attorney.
Something strikes me that I would be a great park ranger. So if I could take some park ranger classes online, I'm all up in it.
Did you wear the hat and everything?
I would absolutely. Find some Under Armours to match those brown and green unis, man.
Yeah.
I would rock it.
Some Under Armour, okay?
Yeah.
Somebody says this Federico gets pushed around like a shopping cart. Wow, not a fan.
I think he's valuable. I think that's a funny saying. I didn't mean to laugh, but it's funny. I think he's a good player. I hope he's back. I feel like Chuck's really worried about that, and I'm not as worried about that.
Fetty would be good as a number 2 big, just like this past year. I don't like him as Tech's number 1 big. Okay.
This is the Morning Drive Podcast from Double T 97.3, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction. Jamie's question of the day on Double T 97.3 is brought to you by Connecticut of West Texas.
All right, gentlemen. Today's a little bit different question, encompassing all sports. My question for you today is, if you could see a regular season game for the Red Raiders, any sport, any away venue, which sport, which away venue would you choose to see the Red Raiders play?
An away venue.
Regular season. You can't say, I want to see the Red Raider baseball team play in Omaha.
Mm-hmm.
Regular season. Mm-hmm. Can't say, I want to see Tech play in the national championship game in basketball.
Mm-hmm.
But non-conference works.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, it can be non-conference. It can be conference. Yep. Any sport, any venue. Where do you want to see the Red Raiders? Which sport, and where do you want to see them play?
Wow. Okay, so if I'm thinking football, there's some pretty big places. Michigan comes to mind. Ohio State comes to mind. Notre Dame comes to mind. Just in terms of venues that I think would be electric, would be cool to see. Basketball, Cameron Indoor comes to mind. I think I wouldn't mind seeing Kentucky. Seeing that, Assembly Hall, not Assembly Hall, but what Rupp Arena looks like. Assembly Hall would come to mind too, with Indiana. Let's see.
Jeff, do you have an answer?
I do.
Okay, go ahead.
And I'm cheating. I'm fully aware I'm cheating on this one. I want to see the Red Raiders play at Kyle Field.
Okay.
Because, one, that means you're bringing back that rivalry. And the image of the one guy in the Aggie section when Wes Welker's running by for the touchdown, a repeat performance of that would be awesome.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Let's go there. That'd be fun. Jamie's shaking his head at me.
I've seen the Red Raiders play there, I believe, 3 times, and
You've been there, done that.
no, 1-2 of the times, and it was fun. It's just not treated great, not fun, and the anxiety for me of, oh my gosh, we could lose this game and I have to deal with these people would be too much for me. I wouldn't want to deal with that. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I get it though.
I'm torn between. Can I give one for football and one for basketball?
No,
He said one.
you have to pick one.
Okay. I think it'd be cool to see the Red Raiders play at Duke in Cameron Indoor. That's that venue with 6,000 some odd people. I think that'd be cool.
Mm-hmm. I think for me it would be Red Raider football at LSU on a Saturday night game.
That's a good one too.
I just want to see the crazies and want to see the wildness and want to see the awesome atmosphere and all the above. I think that would be fun. Obviously, there's a lot of people there. It's not the biggest, but those folks, they know how to party and have a good time. Mm-hmm. And
I think that'd be fun.
Because when I think Jamie Lent,
yeah.
I think of a guy that likes to party.
Part of it is people watching, and part of it is football watching, and part of it is I don't think their fans bother me that much. I have had some LSU friends, and they're wild, crazy people, and they crack me up. So
I had some friends go when Tech played at Ole Miss a number of years ago, and the tailgating there at Ole Miss was superb.
Yeah, they seem too pompous for me,
Okay.
the Ole Miss folks.
Okay.
I'm not really dying to hang out with them.
Okay. We get this Ohio Stadium in Columbus, Ohio, since I live here. Well, thanks for joining us on the Yates Flooring Center chat line and on the Double T 97.3 mobile app
Does
presented
that
by
count
Happy State
for
Bank.
a road game for him, though?
Yes, it does.
Since he's
Yeah.
wanting to see the Red Raiders there in his hometown.
Yeah.
I mean,
And they've played there recently.
Paul says football, Michigan versus Tech. Somebody else says Tech football at Notre Dame. I think that'd be pretty cool.
Notre
too.
Dame would be high on my list
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'd love to see I'd love to see a game at Notre Dame.
I don't think the atmosphere would be as good, but just the historic nature of
Right.
being at Notre Dame would be cool to me.
Right.
I wonder, and it could just be me. I've never been infatuated with Notre Dame. Like, it's never been the icon to go visit. I'm not saying that if somebody offered me tickets, I wouldn't go, but I would go to New Mexico if somebody offered me tickets. I'm a cheap date that way. But I've never held Notre Dame's stadium in that regard. I've never held their program in that regard to be like, oh, I can't wait till Texas Tech plays Notre Dame. Play them, don't play them. I don't care. Maybe it's just me, but I also don't feel like I think there's an age range that's like this too, because I don't hear a lot of younger people talk about Notre Dame either. And I'm not saying that I'm younger, but you guys are a little older than I am, and that might be where the break is.
I really hadn't thought about that. I just think the history of Notre Dame and like getting a picture underneath Touchdown Jesus, I think would be pretty cool. But I don't think just Jamie would do that.
Probably not.
Probably not. No, I wouldn't.
Yeah.
Somebody says this. I did think about this because after I saw their baseball field, and Jamie's going to get to see a baseball game at BYU. Right? You're going to BYU this year, aren't you?
Last series of the regular season.
Yeah, and that is it is a beautiful stadium, beautiful backdrop. Somebody else, and this person adds Appalachian State. Okay. Okay.
Yeah, I thought about answering Tech baseball in Hawaii, but
Kind of cheating.
kind of cheating. Really, is not about the baseball.
Would you go to Hawaii?
Why would I not?
Well, I don't know. I just did. That doesn't strike me as a destination for you.
Absolutely, I would go to Hawaii.
Would you? Okay.
You know
I
what
told
kind
you
of
about
hiking there is there?
Yeah, did I tell you about my friends that I met on the trail in Manhattan?
No. Kansas?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Making sure.
Yeah. I met two K-State grads. Interestingly enough, they lived in Lawrence,
Okay.
but they were K-State grads on the trail, and a husband and a wife. and got into a conversation with them and chatted with them for like 15 minutes. Awesome people.
Wow. They must have been.
Awesome people. We had great conversation all about hiking and actually hiking and NIL, because they are as frustrated as I am about the whole deal. And they were there to watch the K-State baseball team play, so we had great conversation. Anyway, they gave me all sorts of advice on where to go hiking in Hawaii. I was like, that's awesome. Right. I'll put these on my lists for someday, many years down the road.
The Morning Drive podcast from Double T 97.3 is presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
Jeff McGuire and Jamie Lent. I'm Chuck Heinz. Come to you from the First United Bank studio. The Yates Flooring Center chat line is open. Jeff's really good at the music, and sometimes with some sarcasm or just appropriate with regard to the topic. What was that music related to? I cannot hear you.
It would help if I turn my mic on. Asking Jamie questions. Literally what we were just talking about on the air.
Okay, I just didn't. I didn't.
The Moody Blues. The song is called Questions.
Okay, I'm sorry. Sometimes connecting dots is hard for me, even when they're really close.
Very close together.
I know.
I didn't recognize the song.
I didn't.
Well, no, that's why I let it play out for a second, so you can get to 1,000 million questions. Yeah. Then, yeah. Sometimes
2 and 2 don't make 4 for me, and sometimes 1 and 1 don't make 2. You can go to doubleTSportsNetwork.com and take a look at our bracket of disappointment. The failing 4 is where we're down to. You have until noon today to vote on games that disappointed you. In some cases, and I chose, like on these 2 games here, I voted based on because the outcome of one game was massive versus the other game, which was close. So I think this will be a landslide victory for this one. The 2019 men's basketball national championship loss versus Virginia, going up against the men's basketball loss in the Elite Eight this year to Florida. If you were voting on your level of disappointment, would you pick the national championship game, or would you pick the Florida game from this year, Jamie?
Oh man, that's a breakaway layup, right?
Yeah.
I'm taking the national championship game.
Because
I'm taking this year's team.
And I don't understand that.
Because you played well in the national championship game. You had a chance to win it. You went to overtime with it against a team that a lot of people said was a team of destiny with Virginia that year. And you took them to the brink and gave them the absolute best game. I was proud of our guys that day. I felt like you left your best basketball on the table this year in the tournament. I don't think we saw the best game that we could have seen from the Red Raiders.
Yeah, I found myself being proud either way.
I guess I just looked at it from the standpoint it's the national championship, okay? Just the national championship. And then the other game in this failing 4 is the 08 football game for Oklahoma, at Oklahoma, versus the 96 men's basketball game versus Georgetown in the Sweet 16. So here's the approach I took with this one, which is a little bit different than the approach that I took with the other one.
Well, you're allowed to change how you vote, sure.
Because the 08 football game, I mean, you got creamed. You got just absolutely creamed. And in the men's basketball game versus Georgetown, if you win that game, you go to the Elite Eight. And so I picked that game that I was more disappointed by than the Oklahoma game. Not from just a level of importance, because obviously if you'd beaten Oklahoma that day, then you're playing for the you're the number 1 team in the nation, maybe. But you weren't even close. You got creamed. Whereas the men's basketball game, you beat Georgetown, and you have potentially a shot at still winning the national championship. How would you vote in that game, Jamie?
1,000% the 08 football game.
Yeah, I understand. And I understand that.
All that you just said, if you win that game, you potentially have the chance to play for the national championship. Okay, same could be said for football.
It is, but you just got beat by such a large margin.
I completely agree. Agree.
Yeah.
And what do you keep saying about this year and getting to a Big 12 football championship? You still haven't done that, right?
No.
You could have done that.
Yeah.
Win against Oklahoma, and then win against Baylor, you're doing that.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And so all of those things mean, in my opinion, more than getting out of an Elite Eight game.
Yeah. Let's see. To win a natty is so hard to do. To even get there, that has to be the number one most disappointing, especially when we had the lead and let it go to overtime. How many teams never even get there? Yeah. No question about it.
For me, part of disappointment has to be mad. Like, it's the four brackets: sad, mad, alone. I forget the other bracket. And that's pathetic because it's lost. You have to have all of those emotions, and when you're disappointed. And do I wish the national championship game had a different outcome? 1,000%. But I wasn't mad at the team. I was mad at 08 football. What did we just watch in that game? And it was, you have the feeling of loss. You were sad at the outcome of it. And all the Red Raider fans felt alone that game.
Yeah.
It was a complete butt whooping, and something you hadn't seen your team do at all that year. Just lay a giant golden egg in Norman. That's why I don't get that feeling for the national championship game. I was proud of our guys after that game. I'm still ready to celebrate those guys whenever given the opportunity. Not that I'm not going to celebrate the 08 guys, but I never was upset and angry that they lost the game.
Yeah.
The other three, I can make the argument for being angry at them.
I'm talking disappointment as opposed to being mad. That from the Yates Flooring Center chat line. Let's see here. One other thing, Jamie's question of the day was, where would you like to go from a venue standpoint to watch a Tech football game? This person says, my first road trip for a Tech football game was my freshman year of 1976. My brother and a couple of his Texas Tech buddies and I drove to College Station, watched Rodney Allison and crew upset the Aggies. As Jeff said, never gets old beating them at home. We were supposed to spend the night with a high school classmate of my brother's that was in the Corps. He wouldn't answer his phone after we beat them, so we hung around campus, walked on the grass, and headed back to Lubbock at about 3 a.m. Good for you.
That's too funny that he wouldn't answer his phone.
Went to a Notre Dame Purdue game maybe 10 years ago. It was awesome. I've also been a lifelong Irish fan. That was before the stadium was updated. Okay. All right. This, with regard to Red Raider baseball, I'm going to go to games, have fun, and root for Red Raider baseball. I'm not panicking on the future of the program, just throwing up the white flag on postseason this year.
I guess a good attitude to have.
Mm-hmm.
I like it. Keep coming. Keep supporting the team.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe they'll start turning things around.
Yeah.
Just don't know at this point.
The pain of being less than 30 seconds away from a natty and not getting it hurts leaps and bounds more than the what-ifs of the Florida game. Yeah.
This has been the Morning Drive Podcast, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction. Check out our library of Double T 97.3 podcasts at doublet97.3.com.